I mean, I could probably talk all day. That could get old. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a project that I took on as my personal project. It's now done. It's still here in my hands. This is a book that I wrote. It's 113 pages of poetry and pictures, and it's called The Developing Mind of a Wandering Adolescent, a Journey into Initiation. Yeah. And if anybody who picked this up in a bookstore, they probably would not picture this guy. They probably picture a cheese ball. But, yeah, this is, I went, when I was 18 years old, I was enrolled to go to university to become an actor. I wanted to work in theater as a profession. And I had gone to orientation, I had seen my room, I had met the people that I was going to go to school with, and then all of a sudden, I was up on this mountain, and I got out of the car, and this Zimbabwean guy walked up to me, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And in that moment, my life was completely changed. I didn't realize it right in that moment, but within 3 days, this guy I'd never met had convinced me to completely change my direction and to trust what I was feeling and where I thought that I should go. So he had invited me to go to his wedding. He was going to get married in December of that year. This was in like July, so I had like 5 months or so. And he said that I could stay as long as I wanted. And I was like, all right. And I chose to do it. And I was away from home for a little while at that time, so I wrote a letter to my folks, and I was like, that $500 deposit that we put on university, I'll pay you back for that, but I'm not going to go. And they were actually really cool about it. I have some pretty cool parents who many of you are going to meet in a week, which is very exciting for me. So I worked my butt off, and I raised enough money to buy a ticket, and I flew to Harare, Zimbabwe, and was thrown into a completely different world, completely different culture, completely different people, into all these things that somehow I knew existed but I'd never seen, all these different aspects of humanity that, yeah, again, I knew were there, but I'd never personally experienced before. And through it all, the day before I left, backtrack a little bit, the day before I left, my aunt gave me a leather journal. And she said, maybe you'll use this if you want. And I decided when I received that journal that I was going to write in it as much as I could the whole time that I was there. And I planned on staying for 4 months. And so I did. I started on December 8th, 2006 in the E-Terminal of Boston International Airport. I opened the journal and began writing. And I wrote pretty much every 3-4 days for 4 months. And then something very interesting happened at the end. March, I don't know the exact date, I can look it up, it doesn't really matter. Sometime in March, I was on a train. If you picture Zimbabwe, this is the east for you. His house is right here next to Mozambique. And we traveled on a train across the whole country up to the border of Zambia to go to this place called Victoria Falls. Or in Shona, it's called the Smoky Thunders. And it's the biggest waterfall in the world. It's one of the 7 natural wonders. And I was pretty pumped to see that. I got so excited that in the train I drank like a liter of pure cane liquor. and spent the whole trip across the country puking out the window.
Oh, God.
And just before I got to the point where I couldn't really control myself anymore, I wrote this last little piece that I would like to share with you.